Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, everybody. Wow. Boys and girls, big kids and little kids, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join me for our little children's message. I'm excited for what we're going to talk about today, and I hope you have had a splendid week. I'm so happy it's Easter, and I've had a great week enjoying my orange juice and spending some time celebrating the resurrection of Jesus. That's great news. But I do need to tell you, I did have a little bit of a hiccup this week. You see, I want to tell you a story about it, but before I do, I need to introduce you to somebody. So you see this? Maybe it looks like a hockey puck, but it's not, I promise. This is my Alexa, and she's a really smart computer that helps tell me things when I ask her questions, and she can tell me the news and everything. And I had her plugged in, but she was real chatty, trying to steal the show with her jokes and whatnot. So she's just hanging out now. But she's become a good friend of mine during the quarantine. We talk a lot and we tell stories. So, what I do every single night before I go to bed is I ask my little Alexa, maybe you have one of these at home, I ask her what the weather's going to be the next day. And she always tells me. It's real nice of her to do. And get this. This past Tuesday, I asked her what the weather would be. And she told me it was going to snow. Oh, friends, it's April, and not even the first day of April. It's the second week of April, and she said it was going to snow. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. So then I grabbed my phone, and I checked that too, and it said it was going to snow. But I couldn't believe it. I wouldn't. It's middle of April. It doesn't snow. You could say I was doubting technology. But then, sure enough, I woke up the next day. My car was covered in snow. There was snow everywhere outside. I didn't believe Alexa and my phone, but she was right. It did snow. And funny enough, right now, boys and girls, it is snowing outside the church. And it's April. Well, you know what? So I had my doubts about Alexa. That word doubt, that's kind of a tricky word for us to know. Maybe it's a big kid word. Doubt. Here's maybe how we can understand it, friends. Doubt is when you have a hard time fully believing something is true, when you're just a little uncertain about something. So I wonder, boys and girls, have you ever had your doubts about someone or maybe something? I have. Why don't you turn to a brother, sister, mom, dad, grandparent, anyone around you. Tell them a story about a time that you had some doubts. I'll give you a couple seconds. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you take 10 more seconds? Well, boys and girls, thanks for being so honest and sharing about your doubts. Sometimes those aren't the easiest thing to talk about. They can be tricky. And maybe your doubts were something like this. Maybe you doubted that you'd ever feel better after someone really hurt you. Man, emotionally, that could be really hard to think that at times. Or maybe you doubted yourself before a big test at school, or if you had a big sporting event or music concert or recital and you thought, oh, I got my doubts, I don't know. I can doubt. Or with everything that's going on in the world, maybe you're doubting things are ever going to go back to normal. I have those doubts from time to time, friends. That's normal. Well, In our Bible story today that we read about, we hear all about doubt. It's actually a pretty famous story about someone who doubted, and he actually is so famous that he was given the name Doubting Thomas. Have you ever heard that? Maybe you know a Tom. But let me just refresh your memory. So you see, one Friday, Good Friday, Jesus died on a cross. And all of Jesus' friends then were so sad to see him die that they were hiding and really scared about what would happen next. But we know what happened on Easter. So Jesus rose from the dead and was alive. He knew he had to go see his friends, the disciples, and tell them that he was alive. And when he got there, they saw that he was alive, and they were so happy. It was great news to hear. I bet they had a little party there. But you know, one of the disciples, one of Jesus' friends, wasn't there. And when all of the other disciples told him, Thomas, that Jesus was alive, he thought, no, I saw him die. He's not alive, everybody. I've got my doubts. I don't believe you. Oh. Isn't it interesting, boys and girls, big kids and little kids, to know? It's kind of comforting that even the people who saw Jesus walk on the earth and Jesus' best friends, they had their doubts too. I know I sometimes have my doubts, and maybe you have your doubts at times. So it's nice to know that they had their doubts too. But what's important to know, doubt is never the end of the story. It's not where it stops. Because get this. Jesus knew all about Thomas's doubt and the questions he had, and he wanted to help him with those. So what Jesus did is he came a second time to see the disciples when Thomas was there. And he showed him peace and love and grace and said, Thomas, look, I am alive. Believe. And Thomas did, because Jesus was willing to go an extra mile to see him again. And you know, for all of us, we have our doubts. Jesus wants to do the same, boys and girls. He wants to be able to help walk with you and answer your questions and your doubts. All you gotta do, get this, is talk to him. It's that easy. How do we do that, though? You know what? We can pray. That's when we get a chance to talk to Jesus. And when we do that, he wants to hear our doubts and know all about them so that he can show that same love and peace that he showed Thomas. Because he is a good God and a great friend. And he wants to help you with your doubts today and any day. So why don't we say a prayer about some doubts maybe that we have? And we'll talk to God about them. And we'll share them with Jesus. So get in your prayer positions, friends. You can fold your hands. Some friends like to put their hands together. Or you can put your hands up. Anything you want to do that's comfortable. And let's talk to God. I'll start. You can repeat after me, boys and girls. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for Jesus, who rose from the dead. Please help us with our doubts and show us love and peace. We love you, God. And now let all of God's children say, Amen. Well, boys and girls, thanks so much for joining me today. Continue to stay safe and stay joyful. That goes a really long way. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you one day soon when it's safe to gather again together. But in the meantime, we'll keep getting together like this because this is really fun. But until next time, have a great week. God bless.